My name is Boss Pacheco Hall, and I will be your guide to the UNLV Writing Center's video on building a revising, editing, and proofreading toolbox. As always, if you ever feel lost, you can take a look in the description below this video for more resources.
You may find that some people, including professors and professional writers, use some of these terms interchangeably. It's not uncommon to hear people refer to revision as editing and editing as revision. In this video, I'll be using revision to refer to content corrections, editing to refer to the correction of errors and inconsistencies, and proofreading to refer to the process of correcting grammar and mechanics. But it never hurts to respectfully ask a professor or peers which process they're referring to if they're telling you your writing needs more editing. In order to fully polish your writing, you'll likely need to apply each of these concepts to your piece. So feel free to go back, screenshot, and review. If you ever have any questions or get stuck, we've included the UNLV Writing Center handout on editing and revising in the description, and also a link to make an appointment with us in case you'd ever like more information.
Before you begin to revise, edit, or proofread your work, it's a good idea to reread your draft and your rubric to make sure your work has a consistent audience, purpose, tone, and context. These concepts are the foundation to your writing, and so without them, your work might feel unfocused or unstructured. Take a moment now to review your work and make sure you have a solid concept of who your paper is for, what your paper is trying to do, the language you use to set the character or attitude of your paper, as well as important historical or social conditions that might affect your paper. We recommend writing down for yourself the answers to these questions somewhere easily accessible as you revise, edit, and proofread. That way, you can do so without contradicting your earlier work.
How do you actually apply these ideas to your draft? Like in math, it helps to have an order of operations when editing your essay. We recommend the following: revising, editing, and then proofreading.
Now let's start our reps so our writing can be as strong as it can be. Revision will be our first step. This is where we can change our writing at the content level. This means adding to our writing, subtracting, reorganizing, combining ideas, and checking for fallacies. As you revise, try to aim for cohesion, clarity, and accuracy.
I know, it's a lot. For many writers, revision can be the longest step in the writing process, and a piece of writing might need more than one round of revision before it's at its strongest. If you choose to revise multiple times, it's a good idea to keep a copy of each revision. These are your drafts. Keeping them means you don't lose any claims, evidence, or concepts, even if you don't include them in your final project. They might contain great ideas for later. Because revision is just the first step, it can be really easy to get distracted by other mistakes or inconsistencies you might be seeing in your writing. Don't worry about those for now. Just focus on highlighting problem areas and making notes for yourself about where you would like to improve. Getting started is the hardest part, but here are 2 ways to hit the ground running.
Our first exercise is to highlight the topic sentence of each paragraph and then briefly describe how they link back to the thesis statement. That way, by the end of your paper, you know that you've covered everything your prompt is asking of you. Here is an example from my paper's introduction, explaining that the essay will explore microplastics, specifically where they come from, why they're found everywhere, and what we can do about it. Below are 3 topic sentences from the body of that paper. The first indicates one cause of microplastics, which explains where they come from. The second talks about reducing our exposure, which helps explain what we can do about it. But the third brings up a different form of plastic pollution, which does not explain anything from the introduction, so it will need to be revised for this paper. Here's another fun tip you can try as you begin the revision process. Try reverse outline by writing the main idea of each paragraph in the margins to check whether or not your organization makes sense, that you don't have too many ideas in one paragraph, you've covered all of the topics you want to, and that you're not repeating anything.
You may want to take your notes and get to work revising your writing right now. Feel free to pause the video now and come back when you're ready to edit. And don't be afraid to take breaks if you need them. Revising can be hard work. Ready for more? Great. Editing, or occasionally referred to as copy editing, is where you're going to change your writing at the sentence level so that everything is easy to understand and follows the guidelines set by your professor or prompt.
To edit is to prepare something, such as an essay, for public presentation or publication. Copy editing is another word commonly used for editing and is the process of reviewing your work before publication by correcting mistakes, checking for inaccuracies, and preventing repetition in your writing. This includes formatting, missing words, citations, and word use. Let's try an exercise to get us started. Read your paper out loud to see if you get tongue-tied, stumble over words, or struggle to reach the end of your sentence. If you do, you might need to reword troublesome areas, break up long sentences, add missing words, cut out words, or remove repetition. Let's try this together. I'll read my conclusion out loud to see if there are any places I can hear there need to be some edits. While manufacturers, researchers, and consumers 50 years ago may not have realized the dangers of microplastics, current research has a much better understanding of their origin, pervasiveness, and lasting impact. It is now up to us to further this research so we can not only keep plastic out of our oceans, but clean up the mistakes of our past. That's not too bad, but I do think both sentences are a little bit long. It was hard to get through in one breath. I'll make some edits here, that way it's easier for both me and my readers to understand. Additionally, it can be a good idea to check your rubric, syllabus, and style guides such as MLA or Chicago to make sure you're adhering to formatting, citations, paraphrasing, and more. These elements are often part of your prompt's requirements and are easy fixes, so it's always worth taking the time to make your writing as strong as it can be.
Feel free to pause this video and apply these strategies to your piece. We're happy to wait for you to come back once you're done. Proofreading is the process of tidying up grammatical or mechanical errors in your writing and might be what you're most used to when somebody asks you to edit your work.
Focus on typos, misspellings, punctuation, and any formatting issues that you haven't already tackled. And don't forget your consistency. Your writing needs to follow the same organizational rules all the way through, so keep an eye out for bullet points, captions, and what names you use for important elements. This can feel like a lot of small details to control, but don't worry. Proofreading comes last in our rep because depending on your paper's requirements or your rubric, it can be worth the least amount of points. It is always a good idea to fix what you can, but don't let perfectionism get in the way of turning in a great paper. Let's look at some examples to get started. Many writers begin proofreading by taking a look at the spell and grammar check recommendations of Microsoft Word or another text editor such as Google Docs. The suggestions are an amazing place to start, but not always accurate. Just make sure that you're paying close attention to any place where those recommendations might differ from reliable sources. Taking a look, my editing program was both right and wrong. It correctly caught that I don't need to capitalize personal care products in the second sentence, but it also highlighted microbeads, which is correct terminology considering the topic at hand. It also highlighted UNLV, which is a correct acronym, even if I didn't cite it correctly in this paragraph. Another strategy is to have Google Translate or another text-to-speech app read your paper to you. You might just hear some typos or misspellings that you don't usually see when reading silently or to yourself.
Go ahead and pause again if you'd like to proofread your work. Proofreading might feel a little difficult on paper if you don't feel confident in correcting your own mechanical and grammatical errors. So please feel free to proofread your work in the digital document if you prefer. If you have any questions, we have a wealth of resources for you in the description of this video. Welcome back, and congratulations, you've completed your rep. You've revised, edited, and proofread your way into a finalized product. Give yourself a pat on the back. Many writers find revision, editing, and proofreading to be the most difficult part of the writing process, and you just applied new skills to make that process easier on yourself. Feel free to read your paper over one last time to reapply any of the skills you've learned in this video, and then turn it in when you're ready.
Still feel lost? Don't worry. The Writing Center is here to help. Keep an eye out for more resources on editing, revising, and proofreading, or other writing-related topics on our website, unlv.edu/writing-center. If you want to learn more about meeting with a Writing Center consultant or have any other questions, please give us a call at 702-895-3908, or you can email us or send us a Google chat at writingcenter@unlv.edu. Of course, you can always stop by our office on campus to check us out. For more fun writing tips and memes, follow us on social media too. UNLV Writing Center on all of the platforms you see on your screen. Happy writing!